I unfortunately am someone who has had a few negative sexual experiences when I was growing up that affected me as an adult. At 13, I remember being molested at the neighborhood dumpster. All I was doing was my weekly chore of taking out the trash, and someone attacked me. The only thing that stopped it from becoming a rape is someone turned their back porch light on and the guy ran. At 15, I didn't lose my virginity because this is my first boyfriend. I think I'm in love, and all of the things that girls typically feel when they lose their virginity. I lost my virginity because my older sister felt like I was too old and I had too much body to still be a virgin. So she had her homegirl call her little brother, who I had a crush on and who had a crush on me, to come over. They locked us in the room, refused to let us out the room until we did the deed. Um, so we waited. The both of us was nervous, and we literally waited maybe 2 hours. And it finally got to the point where it's like, all right, whatever, we might as well just go ahead and just get this done and over with, because they're not gonna let us out the room until we do it. And that's how that happened. Then I think I was either 18, almost 19, or I just turned 19 and I was pregnant with my daughter. An ex-boyfriend of my mom's tried to touch me when I came out of the shower. Thought I was home alone, didn't know he was there, didn't know my mama gave somebody a key. But thankfully, I have a habit of closing doors, so the door was closed. So when I left out the bathroom, he was standing there, wouldn't let me pass, tried to tug on my towel, and thankfully my mom came home when she did, because who knows what would have happened. But instead of her being angry at him, she was angry at me. And then after that, I was in a relationship with somebody who had issues to the point that sometimes he would black out, and when he black out, I will get beat, and when I got beat, I would get raped. So it was a lot of situations that I was in that made me feel like, I don't know if I want to say made me feel like, it kind of robbed me from enjoying sex. So for many years, sex wasn't enjoyable for me. If I'm gonna be completely honest, I didn't know what being horny was until my mid 20s. I didn't have my first orgasm until my mid 20s. Like, it, it was a lot. At that time, I saw sex as a chore. This is something I'm supposed to do. This isn't something that I want to do. This is what we supposed to do as adults. This is what we supposed to do as women. So I did it, and I was very competitive because I played sports and stuff. So with sports, with my education, I always been competitive. So if I'm gonna put myself in anything, or if I'm gonna rep anything, I'm gonna be the absolute best at it. So sex became a sport to me. It wasn't something I did because it made me feel good, it gave me a release, or any of the things that come with it. It was like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be the best blank 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 you ever had, or I'm gonna be the best blank blank giver you ever had. I'm gonna be the best at it. So I worked so hard being the best at it, all while not feeling anything. So I'm gonna give you an example. Let's just throw a number out there. Let's just say if I had 20 sexual partners. Out of that 20, I've only ever been satisfied, prior to my wife, only ever been satisfied by 2. And I think the only reason I was satisfied by them was because it was attachment here. One of them was my fiance that died, and the other one was somebody that I had we had a sick addiction to each other. That's a whole nother story, but that's what it was. And I never knew that that was weird or that was different. I honestly thought everybody felt like that. Like, no woman enjoys this. Nobody. Have you ever seen the movie Color Purple? And it's a scene where Mr. is on top of Silly and they're doing the do. And it's another scene where Silly is talking to Suge Avery, and Suge Avery is like, I love it. I love sex with him. Do you mind if I have sex with him? And Silly was like, go ahead. You like that? I just feel like he's just on top of me doing his business. That's how I felt when it came to sex for years. And one day I was talking to a best friend of mine about it, and she was like, Gina, that's not normal. Like, that's not normal. And I'm like, well, how do you feel about it? And she started telling me about her experience with it and how she feel during and after and all of this stuff. And I'm like, I do not feel that way. So the geek in me went into research mode. And I'm not saying that this will work for you, but this is something that worked for me. I started to read books on sex and Kama Sutra, and I started to watch pornos, and I started to love myself and touch myself. I had to discover myself first before I could even start expecting that somebody else could discover this and own this and make this feel any type of way. So I really got into this phase of toys and porn and all of this stuff just to try to figure out what it was about me that was blocking the enjoyment of that. So I started doing those things, and it got to the point where I started enjoying sex, but I was only enjoying sex when it was just me with me. And I'm like, that's not right. That's something that's not right. And one day I said, you know what? I'm gonna ask my therapist. Because as I shared with you guys before, I suffer from depression, and this is around the time where I put myself in therapy. I asked my therapist, and she was like, Regina, you're blocking all of the good aspects of it because the memory of all the bad things from it pops in your head first. So what I had to do, I had to start dealing with my trauma and dealing with those experiences and accepting that they happen, and telling myself and forcing myself to understand that yes, it happened, but no, it wasn't my fault. And once I started to do that, it was like it just opened this Pandora's box. Like everything just became free, and I just became open, and I just started enjoying it. And then when I got married, I found my wife, it just went to a whole nother level. It was like, oh, this is what orgasms feels like. Well, this is what this feels like. So it's like, I'm sharing this because I know I'm not the only woman out here that goes through this. A lot of us, unfortunately, have been through bad things, and sometimes without even recognizing it, we continue to allow those bad things to affect our everyday life. I can't say the things that work for me will work for you, but what I will say is if you take a second or two or three, take a whole hour if you need to, and really think about, dissect, and acknowledge whatever negative experience you had. It will make you feel a whole lot better, and it will make you better. Not better for your current partner, not better for a new partner, not better for a partner in the future. But if you really work on those things and think about those things and allow yourself to deal with those things instead of pushing it in the back and thinking that it's back there, out of sight, out of mind, you put it in your face and deal with it, it's going to make you a better partner for you. And if you're better for you, you're going to be better from him, her over there, whoever you choose.